Our instructor for the 5 p.m. yoga flow is Dr. Alessandra Thompson-Poroj, a class of 1999 graduate of the Xavier University of Louisiana College of Pharmacy and the owner of Women of Worth and Destiny Center for Wellness.
Welcome, Xavierites. We're live. This is the DMV virtual Fete. It's now 5 p.m. on the East Coast. And welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on this Give Love Xavier Day. You know that today is all about giving back to Xavier University of Louisiana. I'm not going to stay on camera because nobody needs to see me. I'm actually going to turn this over to Alessandra Thompson, class of 1999, College of Pharmacy, and she's going to get us started with our yoga. Go ahead, Alessandra.
Thank you, Denise. Hey, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well. And we're going to go ahead and get started with our yoga session. But first, I just wanted to take a moment just to introduce myself. As Denise said, I am Alessandra Thompson. Married last name is Poroj. I am of the class of 99, graduating from the College of Pharmacy. I am representing my business, Women of Worth and Destiny, WOW Center for Wellness, where we provide services for women with the pure goal of creating space and opportunities for women to be strengthened, for them to be healed, and for them to be empowered. So for our yoga flow today, if you have a mat, great. If not, you don't need a mat. If you have a towel or you just want to work on your floor, that's fine too. Try to clear out your space so that you don't stumble over anything and that you don't fall. I think we've mentioned in some of the posts that if you are making cocktails for yourself, please cease in your drinking at least for your practice so that you can be as stable as possible and that we don't sustain any injuries during the practice. Go ahead and make your way to your mat. If you have any props that you want to use, certainly feel free to do so. I'm going to shift to my mat and begin to play the music. And we are going to start reclining on our backs with the soles of our feet to the mat, and the knees bent. And once you arrive on your mat, you can allow the arms to extend alongside the body or allow the hands to rest anywhere on the body where it feels comfortable. And once you arrive, allow your eyes to gently close as you begin to feel into your body. Taking a moment just to notice how you feel. Notice how it feels to have your feet on earth. Notice how it feels to have your back melting onto your mat. And notice how your body feels. Notice any feelings, any sensations. Notice where you feel open, maybe where there's a feeling of tension. And we do all of this noticing, trying not to judge, but just becoming aware of our physical body. And also find awareness of your breath. Not doing anything to the breath at this moment, but just noticing the ways in which it cycles. As you inhale and as you exhale, beginning to breathe in and out through your nose if you're able. Noticing the quality of your breath. Noticing the ways in which your breath can fuel and enliven your body. And as we practice today, we practice with a spirit and a love for our alma mater, creating the foundation for ourselves and for students that are still matriculating at our beloved Xavier. And so we'll practice with the mantra, I have a strong foundation. I have a strong foundation. I have a strong foundation. And begin to find a deeper breath. Maybe you begin your inhale from the very base of your belly. Feel your belly expand like a balloon. Allow it to draw up into the ribs, so the ribs expand. And eventually up into the chest, feeling the chest rise. And as you exhale, release from the chest, down through your ribs, back down through the belly. If you don't find that rhythm, no worries. Just be aware and attentive to taking nice, full, deep, and complete breaths. And notice how it makes you feel. Notice the ways in which it draws you into this present moment. This moment of practicing on your mat, this moment of giving back to Xavier, so that we can continue to be the lifeline for our students. Remembering, I am a strong foundation. And then gently release the arms alongside the body. If they're on the body, extend the legs towards straight. And we'll begin with some full body stretches. So as you breathe in, begin to sweep those arms up and over your head, reaching behind you, fingers reaching for the wall that's behind you, toes pointing to the wall ahead of you. Maybe you slither just a bit, feeling yourself getting nice and long. And as you take your next exhale, send those arms forward and down and flex through your feet. The arms pressing the air beneath you. Inhale, sweep the arms up and over the head, point through the toes. Feel yourself long and stretching. And as you exhale, send the arms forward and down, flex through the feet. Once more, inhale, sweep those arms up and over the head. If the shoulders are tender, soften the elbows. Exhale, release, send those arms forward and down and flex through the feet. On the next inhale, gently draw your knees in towards your chest. Hands can come behind your thighs, around the knees or around the shins, and draw the thighs in toward the chest. If this is uncomfortable, draw the knees and the thighs wide so that maybe the belly is in between the thighs. Staying with your intentional breath. Gently, maybe you rock side to side. Feel your low back release into your mat. And then come to stillness and release the soles of the feet to the mat. We're building the foundation so that as we begin to move, we've already started to warm the body. Hands can rest on the belly or alongside the body on the mat. We're going to just begin to make some circles with the hips. So when you're ready, begin to make circles using the knee to get into that hip joint. Starting small and getting progressively larger. An image that you might use here is that of a knife scooping into a jar, where your thigh bone is the knife and your hip joint is the jar. And notice how it feels as you make these circles in the hip joint, gently inviting a sense of openness. And then gently reverse and explore going in the opposite direction. If you want to extend the leg towards straight, you're welcome to do so. Whatever feels good here, taking your time. And then gently coming to stop and release the sole of that right foot to the mat. And we'll do the other side. Making circles, starting small and getting progressively larger. Opening into the hips. Entering into our practice. Reverse and explore in the opposite direction. And notice how it feels as you go in the opposite direction. Notice how it feels as you change sides. Maybe it feels the same, maybe it feels different. Good, and then come to stillness, bringing the sole of the left foot to the mat. Extend those arms alongside the body, and as you inhale, lift those arms up and over the head again. This time begin to extend the right leg into the sky. Maybe you flex through that right foot. Notice how it feels behind the back of that right leg. And as you take the exhale, send those arms forward and down, bend the knee, fold the foot to the mat. Inhale, arms sweep up and behind, extending the left leg into the sky. Exhale, release the arms forward and down, return the left foot to the mat. 2 more times on each side. Inhale, extending the arms, lifting that right leg. And exhale, send the arms down, right foot to the mat. Inhale, lift and extend the arms, lift and extend the left leg. Exhale, release, send everything back down to the mat. Once more, inhale, arms come up and over, right leg lifts. Exhale, arms release, right foot to the mat. Inhale, arms lift, left leg lifts. Exhale, release the arms, left foot comes to the mat. And as you take your next inhale, draw those knees into the chest. 2 options to come upright to seated. You can release the knees to one side or the other and press yourself upright. Or maybe you become a little playful and you rock back and forth on your spine until you come to seated upright. And once you make yourself upright, begin to turn over and come onto hands and knees or tabletop position. Bring the hands that they're about shoulder width apart. Spread the fingers nice and wide so that you can see the color of your mat in between each digit. And then really press the palm firmly into the mat, especially between your index finger and your thumb. Try pressing those arms towards straight. And bring your attention to the fronts of your elbows and see if you can spiral your arms so that the fronts of your elbows are going in the direction of the top of your mat. Adjust your knees so that your knees are underneath your hips and they're at least hip distance apart or at least 2 fist widths apart. You can press the tops of your feet into the mat or tuck toes into the mat, whichever is more comfortable. And then allow yourself to kneel into your back, find length through your spine and extend through the crown of your head. Release the shoulders down. Then we'll take a few rounds of cat-cow here, inviting movement into the spine, feeling movement into the hips and the shoulders, starting with that neutral spine. Draw the belly up towards the back. And as you take a breath in, slowly begin to release that belly down towards the earth as you draw your heart and your gaze forward and up, arching through the low back, tailbone flips up toward the sky. As you exhale, round to the back, really draw your belly up towards your spine. Allow the head to release down and tuck that tailbone under. Inhale, belly releases, draw the heart and the gaze forward and up. And as you exhale, round through the back, tuck the tailbone, and exhale. Good. Do that 2 or 3 more times on your own. Allow yourself to find the connection between your movement and your breath. Invitation if you want to find more organic movement, if you want to find a sway of the hips, if you want to make circles through the spine, feel free to do so as you move through your cat-cow. And after you finish your rounds, come to stillness in your tabletop position. Spread your knees nice and wide. Bring your big toes to touch and slowly begin to shift your hips towards your heels. Maybe you walk your arms forward, palms pressing into the mat. If you have a block or pillow, you can release your forehead down to the block or the pillow, or maybe all the way down to your mat. And allow your heart to melt down as you snuggle your torso in between your thighs and allow yourself to find a place of surrender. Remember to stay with your breath here. Inhaling and exhaling on purpose. as you rest here in your child's pose, maybe you allow yourself to remember what it was like being on campus, being able to find peace as you were in classes, as you were hanging out with friends. Remember the ways in which you had a foundation under you. In our efforts today, we work to be able to provide that same sense of stability and support for our current students. On the inhale breath, rise back up into your tabletop position. We're going to begin to invite some additional movement here. So when you're ready, sweep that left leg forward. Bring that left foot in between your hands. Stack that left knee over your left ankle. And really press the left foot fully into the mat. That left knee isn't tilting in, nor is it pressing out, but it's nice and stable. As you take an inhale, you can walk the hands up and then lifting the torso upright. Feel into your hips. You can even use your first 3 fingers on the left hand, bring them into your hip crease, draw the left hip back. As you press the right hip forward, squaring those hips toward the top of your mat. Rest the hands on the top thigh, or option if you like, sweep those arms into the sky, fingers reaching up towards the heavens. Try not to send your belly and your chest forward, but instead draw those low ribs in. Find length through the side, so maybe you inch your way up just a bit taller. As you stay with your breath, bringing your mantra back to mind, I am a strong foundation, or I have a strong foundation, either or. Good, and as you exhale, release the palms to the mat. Press that right palm just to the inside of the left foot. And as you take an inhale, sweep the left arm back and up into the sky. Fingers reaching up. If the shoulder is sensitive here, bring the left hand to the left hip. Roll that left shoulder back. Chest spirals up towards the sky. You want to take it up a notch. Tuck the right toes into the mat. Lift the right knee. And stay with your breath. Inviting a little bit of twisting here. Releasing and letting go of those things that you no longer need. On the exhale, release the left hand to the mat. If the right knee is lifted, release the right knee back down to the mat. And let's step the left knee back to meet the right. Good. We'll take a push-up here. Walk the hands forward, coming into a modified plank. If you want to take it up a level, lift up the knees, come into a high plank. Hips are in line with the shoulders. Good, we'll do 3 push-ups here. Knees to the mat or knees lifted, lowering, drawing the elbows in toward the body, and pressing upright. Building strength and power so that we have a strong foundation. 1 more push-up. Good, and then walk the hands back. If you're in high plank, release the knees to the mat and walk the hands back. And then step that right foot forward for a low lunge. Good. Left foot, left toes into the mat, or top of foot pressing into the mat. On the inhale, you can either walk the hands up that right knee, or lift the torso and sweep the arms straight into the sky. Feel into your hips. See if you can find a square and drawing that right hip back. Left hip presses forward. Find length through your sides. Find a grounding through that left foot. Pressing the fullness of your left foot into the mat. Staying with intentional breath. Inhaling and exhaling here. Good, on the exhale, release palms to the mat. Press that left palm to the inside of the right foot. And inhale, sweep that right arm around and up. Option, tuck those left toes, lift the left knee for a gentle twist. And on the exhale, release that right palm If the left knee is lifted, release that left knee back to your mat. Good. Step that right knee back to meet the left. Back to those push-ups. Walk the hands forward so your hips are ahead of your knees. Option to lift the knees and take high plank. And we'll do 3 rounds of push-ups. When you're ready, draw those elbows in and slowly lower down to your mat and press up. 2 more. And 1 more. Building strength and power. If your knees are lifted, lift those knees to the mat. Spread your knees wide. Big toes touch. Send hips back towards your heels and take a wonderful child's pose. Allow yourself to surrender, release, and soften. Yet stay with your breath. Thinking about the ways in which you build foundation. Ways in which we build foundation for our students so that we can continue to be a lifeline for them. Good, and on the inhale, rise back into that tabletop position. Good. Tuck your toes into your mat. We're going to get ready to shift into a downward facing dog. Take a nice breath in through your nose as you exhale, sigh it out of your mouth, and begin to shift those hips back and up. You can keep your knees bent, or if it's available to you, maybe begin pressing those legs towards straight. You're creating a bit of an upside down V here. Arms, palms are about shoulder width apart. Fingers are still spread nice and wide. Good. Drawing the chest back towards the thighs. Feeling your tailbone lifting up towards the sky. Allow yourself to find movement that feels good here. So maybe that's alternating the bend of the knees. Maybe finding a sway of the hips. Good, and as you take the inhale breath, allow those knees to come back down to your mat, coming back into your tabletop position. 1 more round, toes tuck, nice breath in through your nose. Exhale, shift the hips back and up for a downward facing dog. Remember, knees can be bent or pressing towards straight. If this is your first downward dog ever, it can feel like a lot, and it is a lot, because this is a pose that builds strength and power as well as flexibility. So give yourself a break. Allow yourself to notice what's happening in your body and in your breath, and see if you can bring your mind back to this moment, reminding yourself that you're building strong foundation. Soften the knees, bend them generously, and begin to walk the hands to the feet. Allow the torso to rest on the top thighs. Allow the head to hang heavy, arms hang heavy in ragdoll. Maybe you find a little bit of shaking of the head here. And then as you take an inhale, we'll rise to the flat back. Slide those palms up the front of the shins. Find length through your spine. Knees can stay soft, or you can press those legs towards straight. Draw your belly up towards your spine for support. Imagine there's a string at the crown of your head, drawing your head forward. Hold here for a moment, building power for your foundation. Exhale, release, and fold forward, soft knees. Inhale, rise, press the legs towards straight. Lift the torso, begin to sweep those arms around and up. And exhale, release those arms around and down. Coming into your powerful mountain pose. Adjust your feet so that your feet are about hip distance apart. Feel your weight evenly distributed between both feet. Activate through your legs. Feel your thigh muscles drawing into the thigh bones. Inhale, shrug your shoulders up towards your ears, and exhale, release those shoulders down. Inhale, shoulders up toward the ears, and exhale, release them down. Once more, inhale, shoulders up, and exhale, release the shoulders down. On the inhale, sweep those arms around and up. Feel the fingers reaching up for the sky. Feel your feet grounding. And as you exhale, release those arms around and down. Good, inhale, arms sweep around and up. And exhale, release the arms around and down. Good, this time as you inhale, arms sweep up into the sky. And as you exhale, twist towards your left. Right arm floats forward, left arm floats back. Palms face the left side wall. See if you can keep your hips forward as much as possible. Really ground through that right heel. And on your next breath in, sweep those arms back up to the sky, torso faces forward. And on the exhale, twist towards your right. Left arm floats forward, right arm floats back. Ground through that left foot now. Really feel that left heel pressing down into the earth. Inhale, arms extend into the sky. And now as you exhale, hinge forward from your hips. Float forward. Knees can be soft or pressing towards straight into your forward fold. Allow yourself to hang. Releasing and letting go. Whatever doesn't serve you right now in this moment. As you take an inhale, rise to the flat back, palms slide to the front of the shins, maybe they come to the top thighs. Find length of the spine as you release the shoulders back. Maybe to assist with drawing of the shoulders, you extend those arms alongside the body. Palms can face up to the sky or towards the earth. And on the exhale, release and fold forward. Inhale, rise. Lift the torso, sweep those arms up with lots of energy. Palms touch at the top, and as you exhale, slide touching palms down to meet the heart. Connect with the strength and the power of your heart. Connect with your breath. Notice the ways that your breath fuels your body. I have a strong foundation. And then walk to the top of your mat. Coming back, setting the feet hip distance apart. Hands at heart center, or you can bring your hands to your hips. And when you're ready, as you exhale, slowly begin to extend the left leg back, landing on the ball of the left foot, coming into a high lunge. Similar to what we did when we were down low and low lunge. See if you can find the squaring of the hips so you draw that right hip back, left hip draws forward, round through that right foot. Notice if that left knee is falling in. If it is, you want to press it open toward the pinky toe side of that foot. You can keep your hands on your hips, or maybe you extend the arms up into the air, fingers reaching for the sky. Maybe creating that stance of feeling like you are successful and proud. One more breath in here, and as you exhale, fold forward, release palms to blocks or to your mat. Release your left heel to the mat so that the left foot is parallel to the short edge of your mat. Take a look at the right foot. Adjust the right foot so that that right heel is about in line with the left arch. And when you're ready, inhale, rise. Turn the torso to the left side of your mat. Extend those arms straight out. Flip your shoulders, palms face the earth. Invite a bend to that right knee. Right knee stacks over right ankle. Feel the right half of your pelvis open. See if you can press through the outer edge of that left leg. Good, and then turn your gaze. Look over your right middle finger, coming into a strong and powerful warrior two. See if you can connect with your lower half, grounding and supporting you, creating this foundation. Notice if you're leaning forward, if you are, see if you can find a lift in that torso so that your head is stacked over your shoulders and your shoulders over your hips. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, allow your shoulders to soften. Soften through your brows. Soften the jawline. Notice your strength and your power in your warrior two. As you take your next breath in, press that right leg towards straight. Extend the right arm up, left arm floats down for reverse triangle. And now notice how it feels to the right side of the body. You can look down to the mat, to the side wall, or up towards the palm. And on the exhale, float those arms back out like a T, and by the bend through that right knee for your warrior two. Good, one more time. Inhale, press the right leg towards straight. Right arm floats up, left arm down, reverse triangle. Exhale, warrior two. Bend that right knee, float those arms back down. Good. When you're ready, cartwheel those hands to the mat. Pivot onto the ball of your left foot. Step that left foot forward to meet the right. Good. Take an inhale breath, take a half lift. Exhale, release and fold. Inhale, rise with lots of energy. And palms touch at the top. Exhale, bring all of that energy and goodness down to the heart. And we'll do the other side. When you're ready, exhale, slowly step that right leg back, landing onto the ball of that right foot. If the low back is sensitive, option to invite a nice bend through that right knee. Good. Remember, you can keep hands or bring hands to hips, or option to extend those arms high into the sky, round through the left foot, feel into your hips. Right hip this time draws forward, left hip draws back. Send lots of energy through that right heel. Maybe you invite a smile. Feeling grounded yet lifted. Feeling strong and powerful. Building this amazing foundation of strength. Exhale, release palms to the mat. Release your right heel to the mat. Right foot is now parallel to the short edge of the mat. Left knee stays bent. And when you're ready, inhale, rise, coming into your warrior two. And I'm just going to turn around so that I can see you. Good. Find that torso lifted, soften the shoulders. Feel the reach from middle finger to middle finger, and turn your gaze to look over the left middle finger now. Feel strong and powerful in your warrior two. Remembering the ways in which Xavier has helped you to feel strong. The ways in which Xavier has poured into you. So that you come into an awareness of your own power and strength. On the inhale, press the left leg towards straight. Extend the left arm up, right arm floats down, reverse warrior. And on the exhale, float those arms back down, bend that left knee, warrior two. Beautiful. Left leg presses towards straight, left arm up, right arm down, and exhale back into your warrior two. Hold for a moment. Feel yourself building strength and power as that strong Xavierite that you are. Strong, making a difference in the world, in your local community, in the nation, and in the world. And on the exhale, cartwheel hands down to the mat, pivot onto the ball of that right foot, step the right foot forward to meet the left. Inhale for your half lift. Exhale, release and fold. Ground through those feet as you inhale, rise, lift up with lots of energy. Gathering it up at the top, palms touching, exhale, slide, touching the palms down to meet your heart. Take a moment. Maybe shake out your legs a bit. Staying with your breath. We'll take a moment and we'll do a brief balance pose. We'll take tree pose. And maybe you allow yourself to remember those big, mighty trees on Xavier's campus. Allow yourself to ground evenly through both feet still hip distance apart. Hands can stay at your heart or bring your hands to your hips. We'll balance on the left leg first. You'll slowly shift the weight onto the left leg, bend through the right knee. Turn that right knee out towards the right and stack that right heel over your left ankle, balancing with the majority of your weight on your left leg and left foot, a little bit in those right toes. Don't put too much weight there. Those toes can't tolerate all that weight. Good, soften your shoulders, firm through your belly, set your gaze. And maybe you remember your mantra, I have a strong foundation. And we do have a strong foundation. Xavier prepared us well. Certainly, professors were tough on us, but they did it with a heart of love. Take one more breath. If you want to bring the sole of the foot to the inside of the calf or up to the thigh, option to do that. Take one more breath in, and as you exhale, release that right foot to the mat, shake out your legs, and take a moment to notice how it felt to find balance, to continue to build strength. Feel grounded on both feet. We'll balance on the right side this time. When you're ready, shift weight onto that right leg, bend through that left knee, turn that left knee out towards the left, stack left heel over right ankle. Notice if that right hip shoots out to the side. If it does, see if you can draw the hips in. Keep your hips forward as much as possible as you press that left knee back and open. Just little weight in the toes. 98% of your weight is in the balancing leg. If you sway, if you fall out, no big deal, right? That's what happens in life. We sway, sometimes we fall out. But what's important is that we make our way back to standing. And we do that because we work on building this amazing foundation. Exhale, release that left foot to the mat, shake out those legs. Good, release the arms and inhale, sweep the arms around and up. And exhale, release those arms around and down. And begin to make your way sitting on your mat. Extend the legs towards straight. Flex the feet. Extend your arms behind you, fingertips tented. Shoulders stacked over your hips. Maybe find a little bit of lift through the chest. Backs of the legs press into the mat. Heels continue to make contact with the earth. Take a nice breath in. And as you exhale, walk the hands forward. Allow yourself to hinge forward any amount. Palms can rest on your mat. Maybe your hands wrap around the outer edges of the feet. Maybe around the ankles or the shins. Wherever you land, see if you can keep a nice long spine. Allow the heart to draw forward, keeping that energy line clear and free through the spine. Stay with intentional breath here. One more breath in and out. Walk the hands back toward your body, lifting the torso upright, shake those legs out. And then wherever you are, scoot towards the top of your mat, bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet to the mat, Hands come behind the thighs or extend those arms forward. Power up through your belly, and for the full length of your exhale, slowly begin to recline onto your back. Maybe you flop down, maybe you don't. And when you arrive, gently draw those knees in toward your chest. Hands come behind the thighs, around the knees or around the shins. And allow yourself maybe to rock side to side. And then release the soles of the feet to the mat. Spread the feet as wide as your mat. Extend the arms out like a T and gently allow those knees to drop side to side like windshield wipers. Releasing through the belly, through the back, through the hips, even into the knees. Good, and then come to stillness. And if there's any other posture or movement that your body needs or calls for before we enter into the stillness of Shavasana, feel free to take that now. Otherwise, begin to extend those legs towards straight, spreading the feet at least as wide as your mat. Extend the arms out and away from the body, palms facing up toward the sky. If this is uncomfortable for your low back, bend the knees and bring the soles of your feet to the mat. Feet almost as wide as the mat, and allow your knees to knock into each other. Allow your eyes to gently close. And then make nice tight twists in your hands. Tighten and firm all the muscles in your body. Take a nice breath in through your nose. And as you exhale, sigh out through your mouth, let everything go and allow the body to become heavy and limp. And allow yourself to surrender here. Surrender the weight of your body into the arms of the earth, trusting that you are fully supported here. Feel your body softening, scanning through the crown of your head all the way to the soles of your feet. Feel your arms heavy. Feel the legs heavy. Soften through your face. Allow the eyes to be gently closed. Release the effort of controlling the breath. And allow yourself to simply be. Feeling grounded, feeling supported. Reminding yourself of your mantra. I have a strong foundation. Remembering the ways in which your foundation was built over time, not overnight. Remembering all of those who poured into your foundation. And taking a moment today to be one of those who pour into the foundation of one of our Xavier students now. Bring awareness into the breath again. Awareness into your body. Invite gentle movement, wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe you move your arms, maybe you turn your head side to side. Draw the legs in toward each other. Arms in alongside the body. And as you inhale, sweep those arms up and over the head, point through the toes, take a final full body stretch. And as you exhale, draw the knees slowly into the chest, hands behind thighs or around the knees or shins. Allow the knees to float down to one side or the other. Your body rolls in the same direction, resting for a brief moment in the fetal position. And then when you're ready, press palms into the mat, lifting yourself upright, and come to sit in a comfortable seated position. When you arrive, allow your hands to rest in whatever position feels like one of gratitude. Sit nice and tall, feel your spine long, shoulders soft, eyes closed. Invite a gentle bow of the head. Allow yourself to connect with the strength and the power of your heart, the core of your foundation. Allow yourself to connect with that place and that space within you where both pure joy and gratitude rest and rise. And invite yourself to acknowledge the strength, the power, and the sheer beauty of your practice. And it certainly has been an honor and a privilege to share with my fellow Xavierites, for friends of Xavier, as we take time on this day to give of ourselves, to give back to our students, and to be their lifeline. I wish all of you abundant peace and wellness. Namaste. Be well, friends. Be sure to give if you haven't already. Take good care.
Hey, Alessandra, thank you so much. This was a great flow. I really enjoyed it. I didn't get into the position, especially when you started to do push-ups, but in spirit, I was definitely doing all of the positions. So thank you so much. It was wonderful.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
And Xavier writes, you don't have to continue to look at me. I am going to get ready for our next segment. What's coming up next is Maryse Holly. She's going to be cooking a traditional Haitian dish. I cannot pronounce it. Excuse me, I keep saying Maryse. It's Maryse, like Drew Brees. So she's going to be coming up next, and she's going to be cooking a traditional Haitian dish. And then we have a special treat. Dr. Tennille McGee Parris is going to join us during the cooking segment after we've gone pretty far with it, and she's going to teach us how to make a custom cocktail. And so I'm looking forward to that. If you want to get ready for them, I've posted both of those, so you should have received some information about that. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. What I would suggest and remind you is that today, April 28th, is Give Love Xavier. We have pinned the link for the Give Love Xavier site for DMV. Please give, please consider giving. It's so important for our youth this year, for our future alumni. So I hope that you'll be willing to give. I'm going to step away as we get prepared for Maryse, and she'll be the next person that you see.
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, can you see
You're
me?
live.
Oh, okay.
Welcome.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Oh, this is like reversed. Hold on.
Yeah, you are live right now.
All right. If I can flip the camera. Hi.
Hi.
Hello, Xavierites. Welcome to my kitchen.
All right. Listen, this is all new for all of us while we're social distancing. Listen, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to be on camera. I'm like, hey, get the big hair going. I'm ready. I'm ready to cook. Oh wait, you have a cocktail.
I'm glad you're ready. Well, any good cook always keeps a bottle of, any good Haitian cook always keeps a bottle of Haitian Balbon Cool around.
Oh.
Best rum in the world, not biased at all.
Okay, I was supposed to have a drink, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna drink this new wine that I got. I don't drink wine. So you know what? But look, I'm look where I'm sitting, right? So I can fix this. At this very moment, I can fix this. I can get a drink as we're speaking right now. I'm gonna get a drink.
Go get your drink. Go get your drink.
Right. Okay. So
the recipe that I'm making today is called Chiktay Moru. Moru is the type of fish that it is. It's codfish. It's dried fish. This is the package that I found at my local El Salvadorian grocer. They're the best. They rock. So this bag is about 1 pound, and I already started boiling some water, and that boiling water is on the stove. So I'm just taking this bag of the fish, and it's kind of like folded up in the bag, and I'm just gonna put that directly into this pot of boiling water.
okay. Okay. What was the word that you used for this fish?
Say that again.
What was the word that you used for this fish?
So this fish is called Moru in both French and Creole.
Okay. Moru.
Moru in English, that's cod.
Cod. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I have some cod here at the house right now.
You should have been joining us.
I'm joining you with the drink.
You'll join with your drink. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. This is a challenging time for all of us, and I guess you've been following along, DC, on my adventures in the kitchen, right?
Yes. And I was so impressed. I was like, oh my gosh, show us how to make something.
Right. And that's how I got roped in. And it's only for Xavier that I would literally do this for the very first time, live segment from my kitchen. Here we go.
I'm ready.
Cheers to Xavier and Xavier rights.
Cheers.
And I feel like I have a lot in common with the students that are on campus right now, because I was class of 06, Katrina class.
Oh yeah.
And we were displaced by the hurricane, and we had everything postponed. We had our graduation postponed, but things turned out okay. And future President Barack Obama was our commencement speaker.
Oh, that's right.
So
No, I didn't have a future president. I forgot who was my commencement speaker, but I do remember it was like he was like the Secretary of Department of Education or something. But I don't remember his name. But
so
I'm sure
class of 06 will never forget, because Dr. Francis introduced Barack Obama as the future president of the United States, and boy was he right.
Dr.
So what I did just now is I have 2 medium-sized shallots. They look like this. They're like little pinched reddish onions, shallots. So I'm just peeling and chopping them kind of in a chunky way, and I'm gonna put these in a food processor. So I have 2 of these, 2 shallots.
Does it have to be a shallot? Can it is that the same as an onion, or is it different?
No. It's different. It has a different taste to it. So you definitely want to stick to shallots. I'm gonna do 1 medium onion with 2 medium shallots.
Okay.
And let's see. So right, I shared that I'm class of 06.
Yes.
I am a native New Yorker.
Is that New York City then?
I am from Queens, New York.
Queens.
Queens, New
Is that
York.
different than New York City? I thought that was all the same. I'm not even being funny. I really did think that Queens was part of New York City.
So I guess it depends on who you ask, right? Native New Yorkers always specify the borough, right?
Okay.
So where I'm from in Queens is Cambria Heights. It's a very small hamlet, I guess you would call it. And there are no tall buildings, and there's no subway. So in a lot of ways, it's a lot like lots of other places. It's accessible to Manhattan, so I could get there in an hour. And I've always had jobs in the city or the Bronx and other places when I was growing up in New York. But in high school, I joined an NAACP arts program and ended up winning a trip to New Orleans. And shortly after that, my mom read an article about Xavier somewhere. And I loved New Orleans already because of that high school visit that I took. So she said, oh, you're thinking about being pre-med? I guess you should go to Xavier. Well, I went to Xavier. I ended up majoring happily in sociology.
Okay.
Yes. So I always try to remember the humanities at Xavier, because sociology kind of made me who I am and built my career, and I ended up in international development. Later on, going to Cornell for a master's in international agriculture and rural development. And I started my career working in different countries, and my first overseas assignment was where my parents are from, Haiti.
Oh, how lovely. So did you get to visit family, or do you still have family there?
I do, and I got to be really, really close to them. And this particular dish that we're making is kind of considered a party dish. So the reason why I selected it is because this is a party, right? We're having a great time together from a distance and raising money for a good cause. So hopefully people are inspired to give love to Xavier as a result. But this is kind of like, the best thing you could compare it to is like a bruschetta. Like you serve it on a cracker or like on a chip, and definitely lots of socializing and festivities around Chiktay. So can you say it? I know you had a hard time the first time.
Chiktay.
Very good. Awesome.
You know why? You know why I can say it? You know how I caught on? Because I went to Xavier. That's what happened.
Right. That is right. And that's another way that I get people to pronounce my name properly, because we give people such a hard time about Xavier and not Xavier. So when I say my name, I say, even though it is spelled with an S, I need you to say it like it's a Z. So Maryse rhymes with breeze.
Maryse.
Yeah.
Like Drew Brees.
Indeed. So now I've got the shallots and the onion chopped. Oh, I have another shallot.
Is this like a rough chop, or does it have to be a dice? Like, how did you chop them?
So these are chopped really rough, but that's only because I'm gonna put them in the food processor to actually get them really tiny.
Okay.
So you want it to be really small so that, remember.
Like minced or diced?
Closer to minced. Yeah, close to minced. Yeah, we'll see.
I'm just saying in case somebody doesn't have a food processor.
Right. So not too tiny. I guess diced is more appropriate, but very small, finely diced.
Okay. And are we dicing the carrots too? I see there's some carrots over there.
So I'm actually gonna shred the carrots. I'm gonna use a I don't know why I'm blanking. I'm gonna use a shredder.
Cheese grater.
Thank you. I'm gonna use a grater.
Listen, I was trying to hang up these Xavier signs, and I was like, I'm right here. I can put tape on it, right? So I put tape on it and tried to tape it to my ice machine, because I have an ice machine by the bar, because who wants to go look for ice when you want something from the bar? And it just won't stay. It keeps falling down. So while we're talking, it's going to fall down. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to keep on putting it back up there because that's how I am. I'm going to keep fighting for it. Okay, we got some feedback from Demetria George Caston. She says, this cooking demo is everything. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad. Thank you, Demetria.
And Mia Robbins says, ladies, for doing this. You are very welcome. I'm excited to, I wish I could eat it. That's the one bad thing. It's amazing food, and then I'm not going to be able to eat any of it.
I do wish I could share it. I'm going to have a whole lot more Chiktay on my hands than I can handle.
So what have you been doing? Are you keeping it? Are you giving it away? Are you like putting it in little containers and like leaving it like little, like putting a bow on it and sending it to your friends, or what's going on with it?
That is a great question. I don't know, maybe I'll have to raffle it off.
Well, there's an option.
Indeed. So it's almost done. You see, it's just like pulsing. This is a pretty good size.
Okay.
This is how tiny they are, like really small. I don't know if you can see this.
I can't really see it, but you said it's like a dice. Oh, okay.
They're like really small.
Okay, I can see that much better. I'm like literally getting close to the camera, like that makes any difference at all.
So
I
I'm still
see it.
gonna let it go a couple more pulses.
Okay. And then after it's finally diced, is that when you shred the carrots?
Say that again.
If that's after that dices, that's when you're going to shred the carrots? Or does that go into something or?
As soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna add the hot peppers.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I've got. So I'm gonna add these to the blender. And then I'm gonna set those aside. And then, yes, I'll shred the carrots. And then after that, I will put the cabbage in the food processor as well. I'm gonna do about a cup. So
Okay,
first
so
I'm gonna cut it up chunky, and then
those
I'm gonna
peppers
add,
are the Scotch bonnet, correct? That's the Scotch bonnet you told us we needed to get.
yes, yes indeed.
Okay.
Scotch bonnet peppers. It's funny when you start like cooking Haitian food and I might know the name of something in another language or I never learned it and I just know what it looks like. And so I just go and I buy it, but it's hard having to figure out the names of things. So I think I should shout out my aunt, Tennille Yam Holly, who's received at least 6 phone calls about exactly how to get this right. So shout
Out to the auntie. Yes, I am gonna have to work at saying her. Can I admit that I'm gonna say this. I am terrible at French. After living in New Orleans, after going to Xavier, I am terrible at French. Spanish, but French, no, absolutely not.
So I also love, going to Xavier helped me to appreciate the connections between Haiti and Louisiana. And then living in Haiti helped me to really see how much we really do have in common. And I think this is a good place to share this story. So my first name is very francophone, like as you noticed, Maryse. There really isn't another way to say it. But my last name, Holly, is very American sounding, right? Very Anglophone. So as it turns out, my ancestor, Bishop James Theodore Holly, was the first African-American Episcopal bishop in the United States. And he was given a mission by the Episcopal Church to start a branch of the church in Haiti. So at that time, Haiti was the only independent, formerly colonized country in the New World. So Haiti gained their independence in 1804, and in 1861, Bishop James Theodore Holly led a movement of nearly 200 African Americans, all free from the Maryland and DC region, to Haiti. And they pretty much established themselves there. And the purpose of that was to participate in the development of a democratic, Black-run society and country, and the only one in the New World. And so at that time,
Oh, I was saying that's amazing. It's great.
Yeah, so a lot of people were trying to decide, what are African Americans going to do, right? It seems like in the United States, we might never be accepted fully as full citizens and treated humanely. It seems like we have left behind Africa, West Africa, and have been separated from our customs for many generations. So it seemed for Bishop James Theodore Holly, he said going back to Africa was not an option, and that joining Haiti, which was a nation of freed Blacks, to start something new seemed like a good place to start for African Americans. And so I am really proud to be an HBCU graduate, and more specifically, a Xavier graduate, because when you grow up in the United States, a little bit disconnected from who you are and your culture, it seems like a natural path that an HBCU would meet your needs, and cultivate you and expose you to the larger Black diaspora. I know that sometimes people like to say, well, I wouldn't want my child, or I wouldn't want to have a limiting experience because the world is not all Black, right?
Right.
But Black people in the United States often get limited to just not having that full diasporic experience, right? And so at Xavier and at an HBCU, you would see the diversity among Black people. We all know that, right? I'm preaching to the choir, right?
Oh, well,
But
I think that's fantastic. And I appreciate that you said that. So the next time we have a college fair, I'm just going to bring you, because that is a fantastic story. Keep cooking, but that is a fantastic story. And I have to tell you that I've run into kids at the college fairs who are like, oh, I don't want to go to a Black college. Even though we're at a Black college fair, they'll say, I don't want to go to a Black college because I already know how Black people are. No, sweetie, you don't. You know how people in Prince George's County are, but there's like a whole world.
Right. And so, and even while I was a student at Xavier, one of my best friends was an exchange student from Paris, a Black student whose parents was originally, right now I'm blanking on from Benin. And I also studied abroad while I was at Xavier. I studied abroad in South Africa. So I feel like Xavier was really good to me for expanding my horizons and understanding and appreciation of what Black and what diaspora can mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
You're welcome. So I just added the Scotch bonnet peppers. Just throwing these in there.
Wait, so tell me what you're doing with the Scotch bonnet. You just said you just added Scotch bonnet peppers. What are you doing with Scotch bonnet peppers? Are you dicing these in the food processor too?
Yes, I just put the Scotch bonnet peppers in the food processor. I took out the shallots and the onions and I put them in a bowl. And now I put the Scotch bonnet peppers in the food processor, and I'm just gonna pulse these a few times and add it to the bowl as well.
Okay.
So the thing that I love about this dish is that it has cooked fish in it, but a lot of the other ingredients are fresh. So when you take a bite of this, like really you're going to taste all of these fresh ingredients, seasoning. It's really something else. And it's pretty easy to come together. You'll see how easy it is to come together.
Okay. So I'm just curious. Don't stop on my account, but I'm just curious. So, because you're putting stuff in the food processor, does that mean I can put everything in the food processor at one time and it's done?
If it's big enough, yes. But I couldn't fit everything in.
Okay. Okay, so this could be a pretty quick thing to make then, if the only thing that really has to be cooked is the cod.
Yes.
Okay, that's not bad. So I've been watching you make all these meals while we've been quarantining at home. So is this kind of part of your self-care or?
Definitely. So I tell people that I really enjoy this whole cooking process. And part of what I enjoy about it is that I can take my time, right? which is the opposite of having 45 minutes to do something in. Right?
How about that? Wait, so our treasurer just said he's going to hold back his urge to fry his cod.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna try to make this, I think.
I would love it.
Hi, Andre. Try to make it. And so what else is there? Is it just the fish? I saw the Scotch bonnets. I remember seeing something about vinegar and something. Does the rum go in there too, or is the rum just for drinking?
No, the rum is just for drinking this time. This is also really good rum to bake with.
Who bakes with rum?
Caribbean people.
Just drink it. Oh, wait. I take that back. Rum cake.
Exactly.
I love rum cake.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a baker, I'm a cook. Every time I make a cake, I just talked to one of my friends about, I'm not even kidding. Every time I bake a cake, like half of it stays stuck in that bundt pan.
Uh-huh.
Why? I don't know.
I've heard people say that, and I think the reason why I enjoy the baking is the time, is that kind of taking your time. That's what I love about it.
See, that's that science background. I think yes. Okay, Mia says she loves rum cake too. See, that's that science background for the bakers, because you guys are able to get into the kitchen and measure things out right and cook. I just want to kind of taste it, like, oh, is this spicy, is sweet? Oh, this is good. This will pair well with this. And so I'm just kind of experimenting with stuff, and I just throw it all together. Not like where you have a way more detailed way. And is that the fish you're chopping now too? Is it going in that? What is that?
This is still more cabbage.
Oh, cabbage.
Yes. Did I not show you the cabbage? I'm sorry. I was cutting it up.
Because we're watching. We don't know.
Sorry about that. So I'm cutting this up into chunky pieces, and I'm also putting this in the food processor so it can be nice and tiny. And this is about, I guess, the size. I don't know if you can see that, but
it's a dice too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying, just in case somebody doesn't have a food processor and they're using their butcher knife, and you need to dice these things.
So you want to get it nice and small
enough. We basically want it small enough that we can eat this on a cracker, and it's not like big pieces of stuff.
Exactly. So you don't want people to have big chunks of it. Like I said, it's a party food. You want to be able to put the whole cracker in your mouth, right? And have all those little pieces go inside and not have people eating with cabbage and carrot falling out, right?
I got it.
So I am pulsing about a cup of cabbage.
Okay.
So that looks like about a half of a medium-sized cabbage went in there.
Okay. So a half of a medium-sized cabbage is about a cup.
That's what it's looking like. Let me see when it's done. These are the hard parts about learning from Caribbean and all Black diaspora cooks, right? When you ask about measurements, they're like, you'll know.
Don't measure anything. You'll know it when it's right.
You'll know. So I'm giving you, look, it's about a cup of diced cabbage. And I'll show you what the bowl looks like so far with everything in it that we've done.
Oh, see, Jamaica Stuckey says baking is the best. I don't disagree with you. I love baked goods. I love baked goods, but me baking is a mistake. People are just going to be sad if I bake things. It's going to be sad.
So this is what it looks like so far. We've got the cabbage.
Can you put it up to the camera a bit more?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've got in here the cabbage, we've got the Scotch bonnet peppers, we've got the shallots, we've got the onion. The one thing that's missing is the shredded carrots and the fish. So we're still waiting on the fish. I'll show you that in a second. And I'm gonna do the carrots right now.
So for the, you put 2 Scotch bonnet peppers on there, and I saw on the instructions, it says if you can take the heat. So does that mean this is like very spicy? Because that's the top of the Scoville scale on how they rate spicy stuff, right?
That's really hot. So if you were in my kitchen right now, you might be coughing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm going to shred the carrots. And I'm shredding about a half a cup. So I'll just look at it and see after I do a couple of carrots if it looks like it's about a half a cup.
Okay. And these are already cleaned and dried.
Yep, you got it. So basically, before you guys joined me, I already peeled the carrots, chopped off any ugly parts, and I'm just shredding them now.
Okay. Now, how come that can't, does it have to be shredded? How come that can't go in the food processor too? Because yours won't shred it?
So for this, I kind of just like a little bit of texture.
Okay.
And so they're still small enough that they're not chunky, but
Oh, you know what? Can you show us which side of the shredder you're using? I didn't even think about that.
yeah. I
Okay.
don't know if you can see this angle. Can you see me here?
Not really.
And let's see.
Can you show me which side of the shredder you're using? When you're
Yeah.
done, you don't have to stop in the middle.
Okay, but I'm using this side. It's kind of large. I think it's the large side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. That's doable. I have this shredder. I have this exact shredder at my house.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And while you're doing the shredding, I'm just going to take another drink of whiskey. In case anybody wants to know, this is called a Glencairn glass that I'm drinking out of. So see, it's got the small lip at the top and this little fat bottom. And I'm drinking Basil Hayden. You see my little Xavier fell down again, but I'm drinking Basil Hayden whiskey. Well, this is not technically just whiskey. It's a bourbon, but bourbon and whiskey. Bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon. And so we need a half a cup of that.
Yes. Let's see. I think we're at half a cup already.
I think so.
Yeah, that's good. I'll just put a little bit more.
So what are you gonna do with all these extra carrots?
I'll probably do something else with them. So I just added that to the bowl. I added the shredded carrot. Yeah, this is gonna be pretty attractive. That's another thing I like about it. So we're done prepping all the vegetables and the fish is boiling, right?
Okay.
But so what I would do at this point is I would take the fish off the stove, right? So I'll turn it off. Only because this pot is really heavy.
So you have a strainer.
Yeah, exactly. So I would use the strainer to scoop the fish out. Can you see that?
I can see the, yeah.
Okay. So I would scoop the fish out and then put it into this large strainer and then let it sit for a little bit, right?
Okay. Just to cool off?
Actually, first, I should say, I would just leave the fish in the water, the hot water. After I turn off the stove, I would leave it to sit for about 15 minutes.
Why?
And when it's done sitting, then I would drain it and put all of it into a larger draining basket, right?
But why? Why
because
are you?
I'm gonna run cold water over it. And the cold water is gonna help me break it up.
Okay.
Because it needs to be broken up for this recipe.
Okay, got it.
So assuming we had all that time to wait.
Listen, it's like a cooking show. Just pre-cooked.
Assuming we had that time to wait for the fish to cook, this is what we have now, right? So we assume that this took about 30 to 45 minutes. The fish cooked, then it sat in the water for 15 minutes, and this is what we've got. So I'm running cold water over it.
It's magic.
Yeah. And while I run cold water over it, I'm also breaking it up, right? So I'm doing this. I'm just pressing it.
Oh, okay.
Crumble up.
And since it's cool now, you can break it up with your hands.
Exactly.
Got it.
So I'm still leaving it in the drainer because I don't want all that water ending up in my bucket.
Okay.
That's why it's still in the strainer.
Okay.
Once I'm done breaking it up and I like the texture, like it's kind of small but not too tiny.
Okay.
Just enough to get like morsels. Kind of the way like when you have a crab cake, you don't want it all tiny, tiny, tiny. You want some chunks. You want some morsels so you can get some.
We want the lump crab meat.
Right. You want some flavor. So you don't want to get it too broken up. Definitely don't want it shredded. All right. So I'm satisfied with this texture. I'll show you what it looks like.
Okay.
Can you see that?
I do. It looks, I'm going to try this. I'm actually
glad. I'm glad.
I think I could do this.
It's not hard. It's not hard, but like I said, it's like, well, so you would say like it's like an hors d'oeuvre, right? And another word for hors d'oeuvre in French is amuse-bouche. So like something to amuse your mouth, right?
Okay.
Amuse-bouche, yeah. So
Okay.
that's what you would, that's the family, that's where this belongs. So yeah, if you have Haitian friends, or who knows, you're dating someone Haitian, that's really an impressive dish to try.
So are you doing virtual dating?
Of course.
Really?
Sure.
I want to go on one of these virtual dates.
Yes.
We could just like fly everywhere.
You can play Scrabble online now.
Really?
Yeah, lots of fun. So I'm looking for my spoon. Of course, I lost it. Here we go. All right, so I got all the fish into this bowl, and now I'm combining everything that we shredded, we put through the food processor, and I'm just adding it all to one bowl and blending it like gently.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see. I'll try to.
I can see. Okay, Mia Robbins says Zoom dates. I don't understand how the Zoom date works, but I'm here for it. This sounds like it could be amazing. I want to try it.
This smells amazing. I know you guys are just gonna have to trust me on this. It smells really good.
And none of us can smell it Saturday.
No, you can't. That's one thing they haven't figured out yet virtually, but I'm confident it's on the way. So this looks a little bit like a cool, colorful kind of, it looks like a coleslaw, but beautiful. Nice and colorful, it smells amazing. So we don't need to add salt or anything to this because remember, this was a salt fish, right? It's preserved in salt, so it's pretty salty on its own. If anything, we want it to boil out some of that salt. So now it's all blended together, and you remembered that I had the vinegar and oil.
Yes.
So I'm gonna add that 1/4 cup of vinegar.
And that's just regular white vinegar.
It's just regular white vinegar here.
Okay. Yep.
Just regular white vinegar. Just gonna do a cup, a 1/4 cup. I read that some other cook likes to use rice wine vinegar, but I consulted with my auntie and she said no, ixnay on the rice wine vinegar.
Going with what auntie said, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So I'm just blending that. Yeah, it's really spicy, so it's like getting into my eyes.
Hey, Dr. Tennille just showed up.
Awesome, welcome. And now I'm doing the 1/2 cup of olive oil.
Is there a special kind of olive oil? Does it need to be extra virgin or?
I'm doing this extra virgin olive oil, which is just a giant brand. I don't know if you can see, but no, I didn't use any special kind of olive oil.
Okay.
in Haiti, it would be a challenge to find any type of specialty goods from other places. So you're just gonna, any olive oil that you can get your hands on should be fine. So I'm mixing all of this up. Like I said, the pepper is really getting to me now.
Uh-oh. Are your
And what I'm
eyes
gonna do
tearing
is-
up? Are you tearing up a little bit?
Just a little bit, just a little
Just
bit.
a little bit, okay.
And so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually putting it in this jar, and this is pretty typical. Like if you went to a Haitian cook's house and they make chiktay or they make other jarred things, like we also make pickles, which is like a pickled pepper coleslaw, I guess. And we also love to make sauce timalis, which is made from red onions. And it's very common to find those preserved in a good cook's refrigerator in a jar like this, which is basically a mason jar. So I'm packaging our chiktay in this mason jar just to show how you might preserve it if you did follow along, or if you'd like to follow along in the future.
Listen, Monica says, can you talk more about virtual dating?
Of course. It's so funny.
Listen. Monica, really? Listen, it's rough in these around the streets. So I mean on that.
Basically, I think that we all have to be creative given our current circumstances. And so, yeah, I was sharing about Scrabble, which was fun to play virtually online. If you haven't heard of the app House Party.
No, I love House Party.
House Party is really fun too because they have like kind of built-in games. So you don't have to go looking for them yourself. You can play games like a Pictionary or something. So this is how it would look if you packaged it just to put away in your fridge. And then I'm going to show you how you might serve it, right? So
Okay.
I just figured I would show you guys this because that's how I would keep it.
And you can you can store it in the refrigerator.
Or store it in the refrigerator. I think it would be good for about 2 weeks like this.
So it's all done. And please tell me what it's called again.
It's called Chiktay Moru. So we just made Chiktay Moru.
Chiktay Moru.
Very good. Excellent. So one of the ways that I like to remember to pronounce it, it's like chic, like a chic dress, right? And tie, like a necktie. So Chiktay. Chiktay Moru. Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, Caribbeans, we love our plantain chips, right?
Okay.
So these are perfect with plantain chips. And this is the plantain chip that I find the most and that I like at grocery stores in the Latino foods aisle. I'll typically look for these, and it's near the Goya products, or if you look for sour orange juice in that aisle as well, you can find this brand of plantain chips.
Okay.
So what I would do is I'd pour a bunch of plantain chips out and then put some of our chiktay in a little bowl. And then put it with a little server like that.
Uh-huh. We probably shouldn't have, we probably shouldn't be making snacks, because I have to tell y'all, during this quarantine, snacks and spandex are what are winning here.
So this is how I might present it at a party, and just keep filling up the chips, depending on how many people are coming. If you're having a larger platter, you could definitely put the chips all around. Other options is you could put this out on a cheese board with cheeses and with avocado, with crackers, with just like Ritz crackers. That would also be delicious. So let me go ahead and taste. I'm so sorry that I can't share the tasting experience with you all.
We're all very sorry that we can't share the tasting experience.
But yeah, here's our chiktay. But you do have a drink, so cheers at least.
I definitely have a drink.
delicious. I'm sorry you have to take my word for it. I really am.
That's okay. That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Don't go away. We're about to make drinks.
Don't go away.
All right.
Don't go away. We're about to make drinks.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
We got Dr. Tennille McGee Parris here, and she is going to show us how to make a
Gold Rush.
Gold Rush.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
It's so appropriate for Give Love Xavier Day. The good thing about this drink is it's very simple to make. It's only a 3-ingredient cocktail. And, you know, when we think about Xavier, we think about legacy, we think about elegance, simplicity, but just something ready, you know, something so you can stay ready. And the Gold Rush is just that. This is a cocktail that was created maybe over 20 years ago at a bar in New York on the, I want to say the Lower East Side of New York, at a bar called Milk and Honey. So you got your
New York.
Yay!
Oh, you New York represent. Okay.
Well, she's from Queens, which is not the same as New York City. It's a borough and it's its own separate thing.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, at the bar called Milk and Honey, by a bartender named TJ Siegel. So basically this cocktail, and we'll get into it in just a second, but this cocktail is a one-off of the classic whiskey sour, which is just some whiskey, some lemon juice or some citrus juice, and simple syrup. Well, the Gold Rush, the whiskey sour usually has egg white in it. The Gold Rush does not. And instead of using a simple syrup, we're using a honey simple syrup. So before we get into that, if you're gonna make this drink at home, you do need to do a little prep work, meaning you would mix a half a cup of honey, get some good honey, half a cup of honey, half a cup of water, stir it over medium heat until it blends together nicely, and then you can store that in a airtight lid. After you strain it, you can store it and it'll keep for over a month. So you'll have more than enough for your recipe, so you can either make multiples, or when this quarantine and the stay-at-home orders are over, you can invite some friends over and make multiple Gold Rushes. So I'll go ahead and get started. The main ingredients are going to be some bourbon, some fresh squeezed lemon. Yes, Niecy loves bourbon. We love our bourbon. We are bourbon babes to the core. So we love our bourbon cocktails. We love our neat bourbon. We love all things bourbon. So you're going to get because this drink is very simple and it has very few ingredients, you're going to want to pick one of your high quality bourbon, something that you don't mind sipping by itself, but really, mid price range is fine. So Niecy, what kind of bourbon would you be using for this?
So what I've been sipping on today is Basil Hayden, but I see you have Eagle Rare, and I want you to know, honey, I have some Eagle Rare on my bar. Yes, I do.
Get you some. I have some Basil Hayden. I haven't cracked it open just yet, but I have some Basil Hayden somewhere in one of these cabinets.
Listen, I just turned around and looked like I have that. I'm ready for this drink.
All right, then. So you're gonna need you a good bourbon, a good organic honey, and fresh lemon juice.
Okay.
You can have any type of lemon, but they always say those Meyer lemons are the best. So
that's what I have. I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
I got the lemons that grocery delivery lady picked out, so I don't know if they're Myers, but I wasn't going out there to pick them out. So
that's a fair point. So you can still have this drink for whoever's thinking about it. You can still have this drink. It doesn't have to be a Meyer lemon. Doesn't
I
have
am totally cheating because I want to make the cocktail too, and this is all I have. But I'm just gonna give
if that's all you got, you can definitely use that. Use it. Come on, let's go. You ready? And I will tell you this: if you guys are watching and you really want to participate in this, but you don't have time to whip up a honey simple syrup, let's look. We can do this real quick and easy. Put you some honey and some water in a mug. Milk it in the microwave, okay, for about 30 seconds till it mixes in, and then you're good to go. So it is gonna be hot, so you are gonna want to add that first when you're if you're using the microwave method, you want to add that first to your cocktail shaker when you're making your drink, okay?
Okay.
All right, so we'll get started. We're gonna start with a cocktail shaker. I didn't know if the noise from the ice was just gonna be too troublesome, so I already filled my cocktail shaker with some ice. You're going to get you 2 ounces of a good bourbon, add that in, and I've already pre-measured these. You're gonna do 1 ounce of lemon juice, and you're gonna do 3/4 ounces of honey simple syrup.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Listen, I'm pulling stuff off my bar. What is this? This is what you use for measuring, right? Is one side? Tell me.
Yeah, that's a jigger. So the jiggers have different. They come in different sizes. Usually you'll have a 2 ounce, 1 ounce jigger. So the big side on this one is 2 ounce. The small one is a 1 ounce.
So I don't want to fill this. You said 3/4 of an ounce, or
for the
bourbon? For the bourbon.
2 ounces. 2 ounces for 2. So, and then some people have a 1 ounce, half ounce jigger.
Okay.
And there's even like a 1.5, 3/4, because sometimes you don't want to, they make them like that so you don't have to fill it all the way to the top to get the desired amount. So we have all of our ingredients in here. Real simple. We're gonna put it in our cocktail shaker. If you don't have a cocktail shaker, use 2 plastic Go cups, Mardi Gras cups. Tighten them together, and then you want to shake it for about 30 seconds. Give it a good shake. So you want it cold. All right, and a good way to tell if it's cold enough, like if you see frost forming on the outside of your cocktail shaker.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so then all you're gonna do is strain this. The best thing to use is a chilled rocks glass. If it's not chilled, that's okay, but.
Hey, look how fancy, she just pulled out a chilled rocks glass.
I had to keep it cold. I had it in my ice bucket. So you guys know it's real, okay? So then, and you can also, this drink calls, if you don't have it, it's okay, use what you got, but a large cube of ice. So I have one of my ice spheres. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
These are they're so pretty in the glass once you pour that drink in there. And we're just gonna strain that into the glass.
Now, can I use the ice that was in the thingamabob, or I have to use new ice?
I would recommend you use fresh ice. Okay.
But if we don't, it's okay, right?
If you don't, it's okay. It's your drink. You drinking it the way you want to. You don't have to. We're at home. You don't have to worry about all the technique. We trying to get to the drink because we're trying to get everybody happy for happy hour and give love every day. Money starts flowing, right? Money flows in the land of milk and honey, right? Remember the bar where the gold rush was created?
Giving
milk
love.
and honey. So what we're hoping is that
these coins are flowing to the annual fund for the student, so that they too can partake in the land of milk and honey and get a gold rush. Now, all of them can't have this. I don't know how old most of the students are there, but the ones that can certainly enjoy this. And you want to garnish it with just a little lemon peel. I like to express the oils in it a little bit, and then I will also rub the peel around the edge of the glass to get some of the oils on the rim of the glass, so that when you're going in for your drink, you're getting a good scent, you're getting a good aroma.
So it's appealing to all the senses.
Yeah, all the senses are ignited. So here we go. Oh Lord, that is good. It's really good, really, really good. So you guys, I hope you just try it out, make it. Let us know if you like it. I mean, this could be, this could be our drink for homecoming. It was meant for us to have, to imbibe. And I just want to thank Nisi for hosting this. This is so great. Such a great event. Well put together, just so that we can all stay engaged. And even when we can't be together, come together for Give Love Xavier Day in a good way. So thank you for that.
Thank you, and thank you so much, Dr. Tennille, and thank you so much, Maryse, for joining. I am so appreciative of learning how to make Chiktay Moru and how to make a gold rush. This is awesome. Everybody watching appreciates it. We're coming together for Give Love Xavier Day. So please, our link for you to donate, it's up, it's pinned. Please click on the link if you haven't had a chance to donate yet. I'm going to ask that you please go ahead and donate now. What's coming up next right after this is Dr. Francis, excuse me.
That's okay. Legacy. Talk about the legacy.
I graduated a long time ago. So Dr. Verrett, Patrice Mercadale, we're going to have Randall McHenry on. We're going to have Kimberly Reese on. And we're going to continue our conversation. And so that's going to be a cocktail and conversation. So we're all going to go away. But I welcome you to come back after this. And we will be starting again at the 7 o'clock hour, where we then will have Kim Reese, Dr. Verrett, Patrice Mercadale, and Randall McHenry. And me. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Maryse. I'm gonna keep working at it. Maryse. Thank you so much, Maryse.
Thank you
so much, Dr. Tennille.
Thank you. Enjoy, you guys. Bye.
Bye.
All right, take care, you guys. See you on.
Hey.
Good to see you. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
I was trying to follow instructions.
Excellent.
And I'm going to lower my voice because my very own progeny and freshman Xavierite is taking a final in the room next door.
Hello
I
to
just
the
got
rest.
shushed.
Our future alumnus. Do you have your cocktail?
I have my cocktail, but it's not very exciting. It's just
It's in an exciting glass. It looks exciting. What is that?
I poured my emergency into a pretty glass. I'm still technically on the GLX clock and have donor calls to make. So
Oh, I understand. Well, you can't have my drink. I am drinking a hurricane,
oh, yum.
and it is
Beautiful.
full of wonderful Bacardi rum.
Yum. I might be having one of those later.
After we're not on the clock.
Yes, exactly. So how are things going? Everything good? You expecting a big crowd tonight?
Well, I want you to know you are live.
Okay, that's fine.
And we've had, I think the largest number we've had, Kim's joining us now. I think the largest number, hey Kim, the largest number we've had so far has been a little over 20 people. So people
Okay.
are kind of cycling in and out.
Okay.
And I gave everyone instructions to do that. You know, join us as you'd like. But
Okay.
join our cocktail hour, definitely.
Excellent.
Kim, I'm gonna unmute you. I'm showing that you're muted.
Okay, you're gonna unmute? Okay.
You're not anymore. Hi, Kim.
Hello.
Hey, Kim. How are you
I
today?
got my Give Love Xavier shirt on.
I'm hanging in there. Yeah. So, Patrice, did you not get your shirt?
I think it's still in the office.
Well, no, we were supposed to have gotten it. It didn't go. It didn't go to your house. They didn't mail it to your house.
No, ma'am.
I apparently am the only one in the office that got theirs. Who elected to have it mailed to the house? I received mine last night at 8. So.
So maybe it's on my front porch right now.
Yeah. So we'll have to take a picture, figure out how to take a picture
Okay.
with everybody in their shirts and stuff.
That sounds good. How's it going? My calls went well. Very receptive.
Good. It's going. Right now we're probably at 225,
Good.
200,000.
That's
So
good.
we got a big push though to 5, and we're at maybe right now about 1,400 donors.
Okay.
Party with Manny Fresh at 9:00. I'm hoping that's gonna push us through.
Yeah, that should be fun. That should help us get over
I
that.
hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. So we'll see. I didn't expect this phenomenon. It appears as though we have less people giving more, which is, I thought it would be the opposite. But apparently some people are dipping into their stimulus pay and making a contribution to Xavier.
Well, thank you to those people.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yes.
very much.
I know, is what I hear.
We appreciate them.
Look, that $1,200. Did they just put the whole $1,200 out there?
I don't know. That's the word that I'm getting. So let me see if I can
Just share the whole $1,200.
Yeah.
I know.
We'll take it.
That's right. That's
So
a stimulus.
we're at the 7:00 hour now. We're still waiting on Reynold and Dr. Verrett, but
Okay.
we don't have to. We can. I'm sure they'll be joining soon. Now
He's-
I don't see your drink, Kim. Where's your drink?
No, I have my drink. Here it is.
Oh, look, she's having a real drink.
Yeah. Well, I'm
I'm not.
waiting for this excuse all day, Patrice.
Well, shoot, I'm going to upgrade my emergency teeny.
I've been waiting all day. I went to Whole Foods and bought pineapple to go on the rim. So I've been waiting all day for this.
And put it in a champagne glass. Look
I
at-
know, isn't that something? Yeah. So anyway, because that's about as much as I can drink. If I drink more than that, I'm done.
Well, so that was my thing. I put a straw in this, and I really, if anybody has ever been around me with a straw, I really should have just left the straw out. That's what probably could have happened. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't.
need a straw. You know what? I'm gonna keep the straw while we're talking, and I'm just gonna take little tiny sips. But that's very tasty. That's how they get you.
Yeah. No, yesterday I had a Mike's Hard lemonade. It was strawberry and pineapple. I had never had one of those before. They come in a bottle already. And I drank it and I had to go to bed. And my friend was like, girl, you are a novice. I was like, oh, wait, I'm feeling a little buzz.
That's what I'm
yeah,
not
we
much of a heavy
have
drinker.
these drive-by birthday parties, you know. So the drive-by birthday parties, the kids get cupcakes and ice cream, and they give the adults bottled adult beverages. I'm like, and I've been to 2 last week alone. So.
Oh, this sounds wonderful. Do you have to have kids for this?
Well, you know, as long as you know the birthday person. So I'm gonna start having. I'm calling them.
I drive by my car and they give me alcohol.
Well,
yeah, you know, and but you can't open it until you get home.
Well, you know, Michelle's son, Dr. I don't know if you'd remember Dr. Bell, Dr. Boissy, or whatever she was at the time, but Michelle's son made 18 last week, and 18. She was passing out sangria and cupcakes from her corner. I was like, thank you.
I can't believe he's 18. Wow.
He is 18. He is 18. That's what, y'all, I'm going to start whispering because I'm getting stinky eye. She's cracking the door between the 2 rooms. My daughter is taking one of the final exams. So apparently I'm still too loud.
Okay. Yeah,
I may have to go out to my porch.
Okay. Yeah, no, I have that problem. My children yell, "We're on a call." I'm like, oh my gosh.
But that's one of the interesting things about this quarantining and being in
right.
You have to, consider you're working from home.
Right. Yep. And you know, I'm loud anyway. So Kim is there. Why do you shout? I said, that's just how I talk. I don't know.
They'll tell me there's no need to yell. And I go, was I yelling? I had no idea I was yelling.
I know. That's what I tell them. So I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I want to remind everyone who's watching what we have on right now. Would you please introduce yourselves? Patrice, you came on first. Would you please introduce yourself and give us your title?
Certainly. My name is Patrice Bell. I am the Chief of Staff and Vice President of Administration with Xavier University of Louisiana. I've been on staff at Xavier for about 2.5 years now, and it's been quite an experience. I've definitely loved the university. I'm a Xavier mama, a Xavier sister. I'm not a Xavier alum. I apologize. And my spouse is a Xavier alum as well. And I am having an emergency teenie. So nothing exciting here.
Okay. And I didn't introduce myself. You know what? I don't think I ever introduced myself. My name is Denise Dunn. I'm the president of the DMV alumni chapter. I graduated from Xavier in 1998. And I am having I guess I just talked about what you did. Anyway, I'm having a hurricane. What I do is project management, but I'm having a hurricane. I put some fruit in there, and I wasn't gonna put fruit in, but Kim said she needed a fancy garnish. And I was like, well, I need a fancy garnish. I'm gonna cut up some fruit and put it in my cup.
That's right.
And please introduce yourself.
Okay. So I'm Kimberly Reese. I'm the Assistant Vice President for Alumni Relations at Xavier. I'm class of 1995, and I'm drinking, let's see, there we go. I'm Zoom challenged, but I am drinking a rum punch.
A rum punch, which is
with a pineapple garnish.
With a pineapple garnish, yes. And it's beautiful. Shout out to your garnish.
Thank you.
I sent the invites for this because one of the things I was thinking of is so different. Give Love Xavier, we usually have an event. We usually like to have our a happy hour, or we all get together or something. We get together and give. And so this is so different. And with everything going on, I thought it might be nice to hear from the administration on what's new, what's different, how are we navigating this? And I see Patrice is moving. She got to go because she.
Yeah, I'm interrupting a Xavier final, so I'm going to Club Porch, as I like to call it. and I'll be stable in one moment.
And the nice thing is that Patrice is in a place where it's warm enough that she can go to Club Porch because the heat.
Is it cold cold in DC? I'm
Yes,
trying to
ma'am,
get.
it is.
Oh
The
no.
heat is still a little bit, the heat is still on, actually. It's still a little bit cold outside. So I actually brought my vegetables in because one of the things I've done during this quarantine time is start a garden.
Uh-huh.
And it was too cold for my seeds to germinate, I thought. So I moved the things inside and I checked my planter today, and I have some seedlings popping up for my onions and for my basil.
Oh, okay. So you're getting it. All right, great.
Oh, wow. That's exciting.
Yeah. Oh, and my rosemary too. So I'm gonna be one of those people who just cuts off the stuff and throws it in a pot.
I like that.
You are so funny, Denise.
Look, I'm fancy now. I'm fancy. I'm what do they call it? Pruning. I'm pruning,
That's right.
and then I'm throwing it in a pot. So I would love to know with this Give Love Xavier, and obviously you said, I know one of the things you said is that less people are giving more. Now I would love for more people to give more. That's different, but that's one of the things we're looking at. But how is, as a person who's giving now, what is the expectation? Should I be giving more? Obviously you should be giving more, but should I be giving more during this time than I might normally give? Like, how is that going to show up in the university? How are my funds going to be used, or is it going to be the same to the general fund like it's been in the past?
So here, everything at this point, and I guess Patrice and I will go back and forth, but everything at this point is being used to support COVID-19 expenses. And so, as we kind of talked about yesterday at during Sister, there are all of these kind of emerging expenses that the university didn't anticipate. And so, making sure that students got back earlier than was earlier than expected, assisting with storage. Yesterday we talked about one of the things that I have to admit that I didn't realize was going to come kind of as a challenge out of this was food security. And so I had said to the group last night, Patrice, that one of the things that I think that Xavier is not getting enough recognition for is keeping the dining hall open.
Mhm.
And the number of commuter students that are still coming on campus to eat.
Mhm.
And go ahead.
No, and I would echo Kim's comments about that. It's not just about the commuter students coming on, it's the idea that faculty and staff have had some concern as well, and we have continued to feed people. We have had students who have asked to return to campus in very, very limited numbers because of the situations they found themselves in, and student affairs has been mitigating and helping and intervening on those things. And of course, we can't go into a lot of detail about that because of the different confidentiality laws around that. But there is just so much that I would say that COVID-19, I won't say it revealed it to us. We recognized that while we knew that we had students who had a lot of gap area to fill and who may have been struggling, we did not know how close to the brink of hunger, homelessness that they were on, or some of the other life circumstances that have been revealed that has truly, truly shown us that we are their home, we are their family, we are not just their administrators, their faculty and staff, their alumni who support them. We are the only family they have. And so when you're in an environment where you are forced to tell students they have to leave for their own safety, and you quickly realize that we are the safety net, we are that lifeline. It certainly opens your eyes to the greater need that we have. You touched upon how the money would be used this year. The Give Love Xavier Fund and a lot of donations are being converted solely to student support, whatever that looks like. There will be expenses related around not only those basic life care issues, but in order for us to welcome them back in the fall, which is our full intent to do. There are things that have to happen, like having the classes set up in a way that we can manage that within the guidelines of social distancing, that we can meet the physical, mental, and emotional needs that are manifested out of a scenario like this, that our campus is kept at a point where we can constantly sanitize it. So the need is definitely greater this year. And I noticed President Verrett just joined us as I was speaking. So we'll say hello, President Verrett.
No.
Hello, how are you?
Welcome.
How is everyone?
Welcome. I'm doing great. Now I don't see your drink. I know we're all Zooming, but do you have your cocktail, sir?
I haven't mixed mine. I'm sorry. It's still early for me.
We'll drink for him. We'll drink for the president because we have our drinks. I'm trying to get the Zoom thing. We have our drink.
That sip is for you. So I think that was really important, what you guys were touching on, because I did not, I think we thought about food insecurity, but I did not even realize prior to you saying yesterday, Kim, that the dining hall was still open. Mm-hmm. It's still serving those commuter students. I had no idea about that. So I would love for us to do a better job of telling that story, because I feel like I'm probably one of the more engaged people, and I honestly had absolutely no idea. And of course, to keep everything as, considering confidentiality and things like that. So of course we have to keep those things in mind, but to the extent that we really can tell that story about how Xavier is continuing to show up for people, and I know they did for me during my time there, I would love for us to do that, to find a way to kindly still tell that story.
And I think the story gets aggravated, gets exasperated, and it gets bigger this year, because what's happening is that you know very well that there are people who were in a good situation in November who are not in a good situation now. Mm-hmm. And we are in the deepest recession probably since 1929. And so what will happen is that families that could help will not be able to help in the same way. Mm-hmm. And my greatest fear is that we have students who don't come because they can't come, as some did in 2008. But that's something that we should be trying to avoid and working very hard to avoid.
Yeah. I guess that's something to think. I mean, I'm thinking about the students, but their parents, obviously, can you even send your child to college at a time like this? And so that's why, I mean, for everyone who's watching and listening, that's why Give Love Xavier is so, so important. We do have the link that's pinned right now. You can still give and still be a part of our conversation. And I'm looking, I'm just receiving messages still online, and I'm just gonna scroll up and see if anybody else had any questions.
Denise, just want to remind people that here's the beauty about Give Love Xavier Day. It's not pledges, it's not deferred payment. These are the money that we will announce in the coming days after that we've raised is real time cash. And so it is immediately put to use. And I think that's important, because when we talk about the annual fund and the annual fund working for the most critical needs of the institution. And so those most critical needs right now are certainly some of the ones that Patrice highlighted. And so everything, I mean, this COVID-19, I think initially when we started talking about it, we had no idea of the depths of which it would, really hold us or take a hold of us. And so everything from securing our students now to preparing the campus in return are going to be those needs that are going to stretch our budget. And so having, we talk to alumni about this all the time, having cash in hand. My uncle always says cash is king. Having cash in hand and not having to go immediately into your savings is what is going to help us in the long run.
And I would say the important thing is that we have to be able to get ourselves and our students through this year, because this year is going to be a crucial year for them. And we don't want them to opt out, because we know people who opted out of school in 08 and also in 12 who never popped back into their baccalaureate programs for a number of reasons. Some of them went to community college, never got their bachelor's. That should not be should not be an option to close off a drain. And also, you should understand also that there are expenses that normally would never have been at Xavier at this time, but now that we've taken on, for example, not only providing laptops to students who don't have technology, but also things like Curtis Wright had to establish an online access to mental health therapists around the country, because remember, therapists who are here in Louisiana were not licensed to travel out to counsel outside, and vice versa. So you had to get services that were available to students, because we know that today there are a number of students who are leaving us who had mental health difficulties, who themselves now were being exacerbated by the stressful situations. So the response on many fronts required that all these people that you see here be very nimble and also putting some resources to use that we had not had to expend.
Absolutely.
And Reynold is joining us right now too. So one of the things that I've been hearing about, and I wanted to ask you more about, so I love that we're meeting people's needs as far as mental health, or at least we're making a supreme effort to in the technology piece. It's one of those things I don't think about, right? I'm a single person. I have high-speed internet. I didn't even think about stuff like a computer. I just have them laying around my house because you got rid of that. So that's important too.
We even gave students hotspots because they were the wireless. They may not have internet access at their homes, so that they continue their courses.
Oh wow. Okay. And there's that additional cost for that. So that's why giving Give Love Xavier this year is so important, because then that's directly feeding into the students' needs at this time. So I hope people understand that it's not just, they're not just throwing this money away. It's really meeting the needs at this time. Welcome, Randall. I'm gonna stop for 1 second. Show me your cocktail, because this is a cocktail hour.
I'm actually making a cocktail for the Dallas-Houston party, so I'm waiting till I make mine there.
Okay.
So in other words, you don't want to start drinking before then.
Well, I was with these people in Southern California earlier, and they did their best to tempt me to make it early, but I didn't. So I'm only going to make it once, because this particular drink will sneak up on you. So you only want to make it once.
Prudence is king. I like that.
And it's called the Drexel.
It's called the Drexel.
Oh.
Oh, okay, that sounds fantastic. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm heading over to you, Dallas. You hear that? I don't know if they're watching, but I'm gonna head over and check that out, because I definitely want this drink. Can you tell me anything about? So I've seen a lot about the Love Fund and the Vincent's Vault, and so I know what Vincent's Vault is, but just in case for people who don't know what the Love Fund is and what Vincent's Vault is, can you give us some information about that?
So who wants to?
Go ahead.
You want it? Anybody?
Go ahead, Kim.
So the Love Fund is our student emergency fund. So this is our response to making sure the students, as we said, as Patrice said, as Dr. Verrett talked about, or that making sure that our students are safe and well, making sure that the campus is safe and well, and ensuring that we can continue operations. So the Love Fund was started immediately after we realized that, or the administration realized that we would have to go to a virtual learning space. And so we have been collecting for that fund probably about a month before Give Love Xavier Day, probably. And that fund will go until September 30th. And so that is what we're using really in these direct responses, some of which Patrice talked about, that students are calling. Monies are coming directly from that Love Fund to students. And Vincent's Vault is really, I think, a phenomenal project, right? That it's a food pantry on campus that not only has, it has perishable and non-perishable goods, right?
Yes, especially now.
Yes.
Took a while to get perishables.
Right. And personal items.
Yes.
I mean, there's a refrigerator, there's a freezer. I mean,
Shampoo, body lotion.
Hygiene
Like
items, baby items for our students who are parents. It is
And
fully thought out.
and understand the need that we have is that even in the first few weeks before it was fully announced, we had a couple of hundred people who were using the Vincent's Vault. It's student managed. In fact, the students themselves are running, so to speak. And in fact, the first Vincent de Paul's chapter on a campus was established here at Xavier, and they have taken over the vault. There's also that we see that we also have even some employees who have used it as well. So essentially, we're responding to need wherever it is, and our hope is to be able to grow our capacity because essentially the relationship that we need to be able to get food and supplies there have to be established. But it has been growing rather quickly. And I'll give the credit to the people in student affairs. They have really been imaginative, they've supported it, and we've gotten many places to make this happen.
Is there a way that we can, as alumni, that we can offer more support to our students through outside of just Give Love Xavier Day, or is that the main thing that we should be doing, is giving Give Love Xavier Day?
I'll let Kimberly speak first, then I can add anything. Kimberly, go ahead. It's yours.
So Reynold and I sent out a joint letter right after COVID-19, and it lists actually calling students. If you know a student, call them, check on them, lend a listening ear, but also to work in conjunction with Tracy Jackson from Career Services in terms of if alum have internships, student job opportunities, and shadowing opportunities. And we talked about that a little bit on Hey Sister. So, and I even said, listen, and we talked about those students who've been put out of work, who were working part-time while they were at Xavier. We offered there may be some students, young kids, K through 12 at home, who may need a tutor. So, those are ways that you could immediately support students, but we really are, and I know, Randall, you're doing National Alumni Association during the Spirit Week, which starts right after, we're in it now, and then it continues on Wednesday. We'll be talking about networking and LinkedIn, and how do we get students into those mentoring relationships that will ultimately lead to jobs and resources.
I think we also need to do a better job of consistently talking about internships and shadowing opportunities. We talk about it about 2 or 3 times a year. This time during homecoming, during graduation, we need to do a better job of doing that. We probably need to do that. Probably needs to be part of what we call peer-to-peer solicitation. Not only just asking for dollars, but asking our alumni, can you specifically help one student, and that sort of thing. We probably need to do a better job of that. I think we get a little excited 2 or 3 times a year, and then it kind of fades away. So that's that. I think that's something that the alumni office, as well as the alumni association, can do a better job of maintaining that pressure.
I'd say, Randall, what you're speaking of, especially in states away from Louisiana, where the alumni are present, that the one-to-one decision to support a student or the students in that area, I think, is crucial, because clearly our students will be making some difficult decisions this summer because of their individual situations. In some cases, we don't fully have information because they are far away. In some ways, those relationships may be crucial as well.
And I think we're doing a little bit better job recently with making sure that when we do our freshman receptions, I know Chicago has led the way on this, of maintaining the relationships with the students as well as the parents. Here in Houston, we've tried to do a better job of that, and I know other alumni organizations are doing it as well. So our goal is to make sure that we maintain those relationships and those contacts with those parents as well as the students. So when they come back, we put them on our mailing list, we put them on our Facebook pages so they can start to see information. In fact, I saw 2 of the parents here in Houston who made donations to Give Love Xavier Day.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I think, Denise, one of the avenues to that, Randall, is what we're doing now, and we have to just continue to grow it, is have the geographical clubs. So, DMV has a student club. We are working with Chicago to have a club. Michigan has a club. So I also think being able to gather those students by region really is helpful.
Yes, I agree.
It gets them knowing each other, but it also feeds them into a club, because what we know is, like, particularly in Chicago, those students, Chicago and Michigan, Detroit, those students who are running those clubs now, they were club presidents when they were at Xavier. So they ran their regional club when they were there. So that those kinds of things make sense. And so those are the kind of things that I'm working with Patrice. She's my direct supervisor. So trying to get resources around, staffing about what that means in terms of advising these students and allowing them to be able to create these clubs.
And it also creates a seamless way back to the alumni chapters when they go back home. Particularly, as you said, particularly in places like Chicago and Detroit, where a good number of those students end up going back home. People from Chicago love Chicago.
They go back
and they go back home.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know for myself that Houston, we were like I don't want to say a gang, a very tight-knit club when I was on campus back in the 90s. And that relationship is part of why I'm a chapter president today. I, for the rest of my life, will give Xavier my money and my heart. I wouldn't be the person I am today if it was not for the experiences, for the teachers and faculty and administrators and staff who fed into me. And it was the time of my life. If there was anything you could ever do at college, I probably did it. The good stuff. I'm talking about the good stuff. The good stuff at Xavier. So study abroad, student campus ministry, student government, everything. And I loved it. And so I definitely want our kids to have those opportunities. And through a thing like Give Love Xavier Day, this is another opportunity for alumni to get involved. And I would love for us to, I appreciate what you guys were saying, that we need to plug in a bit more to students. It's been hard for me to get them to understand that we're not just, old fuddy-duddies out here. We actually have some experience. So if anybody has a great way to be in contact with them more, I would love to do that. I'm sad that y'all don't have your drinks, because as you can see, I'm destroying mine. I might switch to water. I might put this drink away and switch to water, because that's not what I had planned for my life. I still have 1 more hour to go.
I think, Denise, just to piggyback on what you were saying, I think the and I talked about it, the little program that we did during homecoming, where we went back and visited our old dorm rooms during homecoming, and then we interacted with some of the students on campus in terms of, maybe giving out gift cards and that sort of thing. I think that was the first step in what you're talking about, just kind of introducing ourselves to the students in kind of a non-threatening way, a non-intimidating way. As you said, I think they look at us as purely adults. But when we were giving out those gift cards and just kind of having some conversations with us, talking about that I was staying in the same cinder block room and same mic that they're staying in now, I think that really opened up. So if we can kind of continue those little baby steps, and what we're going to be doing tomorrow in terms of the mentoring project, just that presentation, I think those are the little things that will help us long term. And once again, it will help bridge the gap between when they graduate and when they decide to become contributing alumni, because we know that we lose them pretty much throughout their 20s, because they're getting into their careers. If we just can convince them to donate $20 back or $25 back during those early years, once that once the process of giving starts, it won't stop.
Okay. Yep. I totally agree with you. I love the strategy of alumni from day one. I would love for people to think of themselves that way. You're not just the youth or just students. You are the class of 2024, class of 2020. And I want them to start thinking in that mindset that this is the rest of your life. This time that you're at Xavier, I was there for this small period of time, but it really sets the path for the rest of your life. And you're going to be an alumnus for much longer than you're going to, hopefully, much longer than you're going to be a student.
We hope so.
That's the goal. You don't want to stay there forever. It's fun, but then eventually those people are going to leave.
And you don't want to fade out too quickly too.
You don't want to stay there forever. Eventually you have to go. So I did have, because I don't have any more questions unless I see any online. So I've told people that they could ask questions. And I had my question for me, because one thing I've taken on, and I was telling Patrice and Kim a little bit before we started, one of the things that I've done that I wouldn't normally do during this period of quarantining at home was start a garden. And I would not have probably started a garden if it hadn't been for us being stuck at home. So what's like one thing that you feel like you've done since you've been at home more that you wouldn't normally do?
So I'll say I've started gardening more than I ever had before, and took the time to truly clean out my patio. And behind my house is, oh my gosh, a underutilized, undercared for greenhouse. As a matter of fact, that was here when I moved here. So I have recently, since the stay-at-home order keeps getting extended, started the restoration project on that. And I'm hoping to have the time to actually start a garden that is productive with fruit and veggies and whatever we need. So I'm in the early stages of doing that. So similar path we're taking, and looking at I don't know, my daughters eat so many avocados a week, it's unbelievable. So saying, hey, you know what, you could grow your own avocados in here. So that's
they probably grow here. Not every year, but you'll get it. Because I see papayas, you grow papayas here, you grow avocados.
I can't grow avocados here where I am.
I'll ship you some.
Thank you. I'll take them because I will definitely eat them. What about you, Dr. Verrett? Do you have something new?
Well, I think what I'm finding out is that I'm probably more intentionally in contact with many people than before we were in this seclusion. Reaching out to people whom I thought we've talked for maybe over the last 20, 30 years, but we're reaching out in ways that we hadn't reached out before and much more often. I think that's a striking thing.
Right. Absolutely.
More connection.
So we are separated but closer in some ways.
What about you, Reynold?
Probably have cleaned parts of my house that I didn't know existed. Probably. Yeah.
Didn't know existed.
Well, you know, my son, he's the only person upstairs. And so, and as anybody who's had teenagers know, they don't want you in their rooms. So, but once the smell starts to come out of the room, you got to go in and clean it up a little bit. So that's probably, that's probably been a big thing. And I agree with what Dr. Verrett said. I've intentionally tried to reach out to different people, kind of check in on seeing about this thing since we've been doing this. But I've been at the same time just as busy, if not more, than prior to it. So
I add one more thing. Speaking of cleaning out the room, I don't have a son upstairs to have a funky room, but I started unpacking boxes that you move and their box is still unpacked, and a lot of my paintings, things like that had been in boxes that I had not hung up. Even that one in the back was in its fine wrapping, and I started hanging. I said, I'm gonna in the house. You want to see them? even found some hand drawings that a friend did of me in a rocking chair with my firstborn son when he was probably
That's
maybe
beautiful.
2 weeks old. And you find drawings like that that were framed, and they were in boxes, and they're not, because you're busy. Oh, I'll find time. I'll get to it. I got to it.
Wow.
What about you, Kim?
So I have started walking in the morning. So I walk 4 miles a day with a group of friends. And we do social distance. So we walk at about 7 in the morning. And it started out, I started out at 2 miles and we got up to 4. We said we would get up to 5. We never got up to 5. So I think 4 is the limit.
As far as you're comfortable.
It's about an hour and 10, 15 minutes to do.
An hour.
But I will tell you, if it was not for the walking in the morning, I think I would have lost my insanity. I would have lost my sanity a long time ago. It really grounds me. We don't do much talking. I mean, we talk first when we get out there and we walk, but then everybody does their own pace. So I'm able to, listen to sermons and, prayer music and things like that. So.
That's fantastic. So I'm going to be honest here. I'm not going to do what Dr. Verrett did. I'm not going to find anything I have boxes that have been here since I've been living here 4 years. And they're still in the box, and I'm not.
And you're afraid of what you'll find in them, right?
I don't even want to. I'm not going to these boxes to find anything. So that's absolutely out of the question. As long as they're behind the storage room door, everything's fine. Everything's fine. So I did have one person on the chat who said that I think emphasizing that networking is key. This is from Levon Gaffin, class of 2004. I don't think they understand it isn't just for making money, but building family and career post-undergrad. So that's just talking about the importance of networking. And then Reynold Salter, so he actually teaches at the College of Dentistry at Howard University, class of 95.
Yes.
He says, can we consider an alumni walk? Alumni buy bricks to make a sidewalk like Hollywood Walk of Fame? I don't know. I thought we did something similar for that for the chapel.
I think that is at the chapel.
I think there is.
We do have a wall, but we don't have a pathway. We have a wall.
Yeah, and I guess we'll have to find, as we develop the campus, where you place it so it's there permanently.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's we have been talking about in some ways recognizing different donors over the years, something iconic that I would recognize them. The same way that you might even see the doves for a sign of recognition that was done by John Scott many years ago. But we need to do something more like that as well.
But you can make a donation, a contribution of $1,000 to the St. Catherine Drexel Chapel, and that will get your name on the St. Catherine Drexel Chapel wall.
Wow.
That is true. That is true. Thank you.
And is that donation they make, is that going to the annual fund, or does it?
It is not. It goes to maintain the chapel, which is actually, and I know that Patrice and Dr. Verrett would agree to this, it requires its own pot of money.
Yeah, because the chapel is
require a great amount of upkeep, so it would go to the maintenance of the chapel.
Yes.
And you have to remember, the chapel has a history, and the chapel already won an international award for liturgical architecture. And the chapel also, Cesar Pele, who passed away, the architect who designed it, there was interesting push and pull on the design between him and Norman Francis. They came to an understanding over what it needed to be. And Cesar Pele wanted to do this very badly. It's actually the only piece of he's done, his work is iconic around the world. And when he died, the litany of his works go into, they say, but he did one piece of freestanding liturgical architecture. That's the chapel at Xavier. He wanted to do this badly. And he came and said he wanted to do this one for Catherine Drexel.
So someone's asking, does it have to be a separate donation for the chapel? they need to make a separate donation for that?
It does. It does, because the chapel is the only building on campus that is raised entirely by private funds.
Private funds, right.
So, normally we try to meet the donors halfway, and, they're like, well, I wanted to go to this, but this, that. But the chapel, it does have to be a separate kind of contribution. Now, we can work with you and, maybe do it over a time, a few installments, not many, but it is a separate contribution. And it's totally separate and apart from what we're doing today.
So what you're saying about the that you can work with people on donations, can they do that even in terms of Give Love Xavier Day from now through September?
Yeah, right. So let me remind people, I often compare the giving that we do at the university to that of a church, right? So the church we have a weekly contribution, you have a building fund, you have a pastor's love offer, there's all of these different types of things you can do, and you can package them however you like. So one of the things, I always like to use myself for an example. I support through my contribution several initiatives, but I decide at the beginning of each year how much I'm going to give to Xavier. So if I'm going to decide I'm going to give $2,500 this year, I'm going to decide how I'm going to split that funding. Whether that funding is to the Sister Beatrice Leadership Award, Give Love Xavier Day, the chapel, it just depends. And so what I would say, I have a pledge out there for the National Alumni Endowment Centennial. So I always encourage Xavierites to really look at what they ultimately want their donation to be. And I ask them to consider growing their donation every year, even if it's just by $20, hopefully it's by 100 or more. But if you gave $1,500 one year, try to make up it to $1,600. And then look at those things that are important to you. So ultimately, if you were giving $1,500 a year, you could say $1,000 is going to go to the chapel to get my name on the wall, and $500 to the annual fund. If you could choose to make that gift on Give Love Xavier Day. So we have done some discussion with alumni around that. We can do more of it. We should do more of it about how they can package their gifts and make the most impact. So I'm open for discussion. Reynold, Dr. Verrett, Patrice, we can all talk to people about how to package their gifts and to really get the impact that they want, because that's what's important, for you to fund what's most important to you.
And I actually think, Kim, I'm just going to piggyback on that a little bit. It would be helpful if we do something that's just an information session on how to make your gifts and what the different needs are. I know we've been spending a lot of time in the Zoom space and in the telespace, but as we've been doing these info sessions, I've realized the need to do more and more, and people are craving additional information outside of the normal things we talk about. It's great to hear the accolades, and we'll continue to do that. It's good to communicate, but just in this call, I've noted on my phone that you see me looking down at sometimes, that people are asking questions about how the monies will be used. They're asking questions about new initiatives. Just in our early phone call, when it was just the three of us on, we were discussing new programs and what's happening, the lack of information about the Vincent's Vote or different things that we need to do a better job of sharing. And I own that personally because the communications office falls under my purview. And so maybe we need to do something specifically in this lane as well and do more articulation on how to give and what your menu options are. It's almost like people need to be given that full menu to see how they want to make those donations.
That's actually a question someone asked. Is there a location on the website that lists the various programs and initiatives we can choose? So
there is. I'm not going to say that it's comprehensive, but most of it is there. So if you go to the well, not now because everything's pointed to Xavier Day, but in the next 2 days when the site comes down, you'll be able to look at ways to give. There's a drop-down button that lists a variety of initiatives, but I think I would agree with Patrice in that we probably need to get some narrative around what those initiatives are, because we normally just chunk them together, like annual fund, major gifts, planned giving, scholarships. And there really is so much more to giving than that. You can create your own award if you want to do that. So there's so much more to it. And so we probably need to work out what that narrative may be. But meanwhile, we can have the conversation. And I like to tell people we can probably make whatever you want fit. You just can't select, like if you want to do a scholarship, you just can't select your person, right? But other than that, we can be very creative about how we package your dollars and get them to the projects that you are most concerned about.
And even inform people about what the needs are, because the needs really change depending on not only the climate with something like COVID-19, just the student profile that's coming, or the new programs that are being introduced. So I think Kim, can we make a commitment to spend some time together and try to write up something that's a more informative piece, especially in this time when people are so interested in how their dollars are being used?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and one thing that I thought of quickly is that we brought up, I was on a call or something, and I didn't realize, it was on the commencement call with Dr. Verrett. I didn't realize that we were graduating the first class of Masters in Public Health. And I wrote it down, and I'm going to talk to Patrice about it, but I thought, what a great story to push us to end of the year giving. I mean, here we are in this pandemic, and Xavier is graduating its first Masters in Public Health. And I'd be willing to bet you, out of that cohort, there's going to be some Xavier student that's going to make an amazing breakthrough because of her education at Xavier around this whole pandemic. So,
And it's things like stories like that. And I'll just share, earlier today, I convened a call with all of the people who you would consider our public health and health disparity experts, because quietly, and I found out, I've been with Xavier 2.5 years. I had no idea how long Xavier has been in the space of dealing with health disparities, had clinical work going on in the Gertown community. Just because, and actually Dean Kennedy, who I'm sure some of you on the phone may know, Dean Kennedy of the College of Pharmacy, is just rattling off all these accomplishments. And I said, I'm so sorry, I never knew. And she went, this group is the first people who ever actually asked. Now, COVID-19 is the reason I said, we should find out more about, I know we're doing something, what are we doing? And they have just quietly gone about the work of doing the work without ever asking for a spotlight to be shown on them. But those are stories we are beginning to collect, to share out, because I think it will be important for not just Xavier alumni, but the entire world and students themselves to know, students who are considering coming, students who are already there, students who are considering coming back, that we are taking a leadership role in addressing this pandemic, and unfortunately what will likely be another one that comes to light possibly in our lifetimes.
Hey guys, just real quick, they're texting me, they want me over in the other meeting real quick, but before I leave,
send your brother. Send your brother.
And you all are welcome to come over there as well. But before I leave, I wanted to say a couple things. I love Give Love Xavier Day. It's one of my favorite days of the year. People, I've been online all day. Right now, we're in a battle with the alphas. They just passed us, and I'm a little perturbed about that. But
and I'm not going to even tell you. I'm texting with alphas now.
Yeah,
Reynold, I'm just going to say.
I'm just saying, I'm a little perturbed. But look, you know me. I'm gonna get my game up in a little bit. But
you know you can be those alphas. You can
yeah. No doubt. Both John and Derek gave $5,000 today, so they're but it's great. I'm a little competitive, so every year in the Xavier Gold, when they have those little categories about if you give a 0 to 250, so every year I try to go up a little bit, because I want to be in that different category till I get up to the Paula Cezanne level or something like that. So, but that'll take a while. But on the Give Love Day, I'll say this again. It's too cumbersome to donate to multiple things. I've said this every year. If we could figure out a way to donate with one drop-down box of whoever you wanted to donate to, I had to donate to 3 people: Houston alumni, the Kappas, and I have my own page. So at one point, if we can get to the point where we can do it one time and give different dollar amounts to whatever you can do, that would just make things life a lot easier.
You mean like a percentage Dropbox?
Just a Dropbox.
Yeah, so if I give a gift and I say 20 to this, 15 to this, and
exactly.
adds up to 100.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
and it tallies it up and it makes sure you add it to 100.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
so
can be done. That's a new way.
We're exploring, so next year we'll probably see a different look. We actually have demos. Lucretia has demos set up a month after this to start looking at other vendors. So we will keep that in mind as something, and we will probably do a quick survey to the team captains, asking them how we can improve the experience. Believe it or not, this vendor that we're working with we've been dealing with them for 4 years. They've been sold 3 times. So every year the capacity, like we can't do what we did the year before, because they're under new ownership, so to speak. So we think we may have a solution, but Randall, we'll get you in on the conversation so you can help us with the testing to make sure that it's you, because you are on it more than we are in terms of making the gift. So we'll get a couple of testers out there to test it and make sure it's good.
I actually like the interface that we did this year the least. I didn't like this one.
Me too.
At all.
I do. Yeah, I do too. I agree.
That's important.
I agree.
We actually are at the end of the cocktail hour, and I am at the end.
I gotta go, guys.
Bye, Randall.
Take care, Randall. I like the beer. It's getting good. It's getting good.
Thank you.
See you in 2 weeks.
I am at the end of my cocktail. I want everyone to please go and donate. If you haven't had a chance to donate to Give Love Xavier, we just got some really great information. I'm really, really appreciative that you guys were willing to come on and have this talk. And I think it's really important. I'll say one things in terms of communication, because I actually took this social media course because I'm older, but that people seem to really respond to video and visuals, and they prefer it to anything written. So the more video and visuals that you can have, like an easy explanation, people seem to respond to that in terms of evangelization of any type. Okay, there I go on my project management tip. But as long as in terms of institutionalizing something, when you're trying to get people excited or whatever, people really like to be able to see something and respond to it quickly. So thank you all again for joining me tonight. And I hope we answered everyone's questions. I hope they're going to give. I just checked that last time I checked, we were less than 1,000, and now we're almost at 5,000. So I'm hoping you guys will keep giving, keep getting up there. And I thank you so much for joining our Facebook Live tonight. I know you guys are all busy.
And so Denise, if I could just ask people who are watching to grab a friend. Our goal is 2,500 donors. And so if you've given, send a text message, send an email to 5-10 friends, and tell them to join us for this important cause.
I definitely will put that in our chat as well.
All right. Thank y'all so much for inviting us. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
We've reached the end of our Fete, but you don't have to wait for Give Love Xavier Day to donate. You can give at any time to help a worthy student at https://giving.xula.edu.